Singapore's former Transport Minister S Iswaran was handed 27 charges in court on 18th of January 2024, including corruption and obstructing justice. He was arrested in July last year as part of a corruption probe. Here's what we know about the case. Iswaran faces 24 charges for obtaining a valuable thing as a public servant. And this is for receiving multiple tickets to Premier League football matches in London over the years, and to overseas shows from as early as November 2015. The shows include popular musicals such as Kinky Boots and Hamilton. He's also accused of receiving Formula One Singapore Grand Prix tickets from September 2016. He faces 2 charges under the Prevention of Corruption Act, also for obtaining F1 tickets, as well as for taking a flight on billionaire Ong Beng Seng's private plane from Singapore to Doha, worth more than 10,000 Singapore dollars, staying at the Four Seasons Doha, and then flying back on a business class flight. These were allegedly to advance Mr. Ong's business interests with the Singapore Tourism Board. He's also charged with obstructing justice for the repayment of 5,700 Singapore dollars to Singapore GP Private Limited for the cost of that business class air ticket. He pleaded not guilty to all charges. Singapore's anti-graft agency, the Corrupt Practices Investigation Bureau, or CPIB, came across some information concerning Iswaran while investigating a separate matter. On 29 May 2023, CPIB alerted Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong and continued to pursue this. On 5th of July, the director of CPIB briefed PM Lee on the findings at that point. It sought PM Lee's agreement to open a formal investigation and said it needed to interview Iswaran as part of further investigations. PM Lee gave approval the next day. On 11th of July, formal investigations began. Iswaran was arrested by the CPIB. He was subsequently released on bail. The next day, CPIB announced that Iswaran was assisting with an investigation. On the same day, PM Lee said he had instructed Iswaran to take a leave of absence until the investigation is complete. That evening, Deputy Prime Minister Lawrence Wong said the Singapore government will maintain a tough, zero-tolerance stance against corruption.
We will be upfront and transparent, and we will not sweep anything under the carpet, even if they are potentially embarrassing or damaging to the PAP and to the government.
2 days later, Hotel Properties Limited announced that its co-founder and managing director Ong Beng Seng was given a notice of arrest. The company said Mr. Ong was asked to provide information in relation to his interactions with Iswaran. The 77-year-old billionaire businessman owns the rights to the Singapore Grand Prix and is chairman of race promoter Singapore GP. Iswaran had been actively involved in the government's engagements with F1, including making appearances at press conferences where announcements about the event's future were made. The contract for Singapore to host the Formula One Grand Prix was extended for another 7 years in 2022. After he was charged on 18th of January, the Prime Minister's office announced that Iswaran resigned as Minister, Member of Parliament and PAP member. It added that he will return all ministerial pay and MP allowance that he received since the start of CPIB's investigations in July 2023. In August last year, PM Lee had told Parliament that Iswaran was temporarily removed from duty with a reduced pay of 8,500 Singapore dollars a month. But Iswaran continued to draw the full annual MP allowance of $192,500. In September 2023, Parliament rejected a motion by the opposition to suspend Iswaran from Parliament, voting instead to consider the matter when corruption investigations against him conclude. On 9th of January 2024, it was announced that CPIB investigations were complete and that the case was under review by the Attorney General's chambers. As for how this impacts the ruling People's Action Party, PM Lee has said that the PAP has taken a hit, but that the party will uphold standards and do the right thing. At the PAP convention in November 2023, PM Lee reiterated commitment to keep the party clean, making what appeared to be a veiled reference to Iswaran's case.
If you wear white, you must be white. Whether in your party responsibilities or private dealings, never bring yourself or the party into disrepute. Do not abuse your position. Do not accept any favors, still less ask for them. It's shameful, it's wrong.
The PAP stance on corruption is non-negotiable. This is part of our DNA. There can be no compromise, no relaxation, no fudging on this, no matter the political price. So the PAP government will continue to do everything we can to uphold the highest standards of integrity, incorruptibility and propriety. And that's how we maintain the trust that Singaporeans have placed in us.